Imagine being so broke that you sleep on your friend's floor, collect Coke bottles just to eat, and then build the most powerful tech company on earth. Sounds impossible, right? But this is exactly how Steve Jobs built Apple. And the craziest part? The same company he created later kicked him out. This is not just a business story. This is a story of obsession, betrayal, failure, and one of the greatest comebacks in history.
In the 1970s, nobody believed two young guys working inside a small garage could change the world. One was a shy engineering genius named Steve Wozniak. The other, a broke college dropout with crazy dreams. Steve Jobs. At that time, Jobs had no money, no degree, no big connections. Sometimes he walked miles just to get free food from a temple. But inside his mind, there was a dangerous level of ambition. He didn't just want to make computers. He wanted to build something that would change humanity forever. And that obsession would soon change the entire world. One day, Steve Wozniak created a small computer board. It was simple, but different from anything people had seen before. Most people ignored it. Some even laughed at it, because during that time, computers were giant machines only rich companies could afford. But Jobs saw something nobody else could see. He believed one day every normal person would own a computer. And this crazy idea became the birth of Apple. But there was one huge problem. They had almost no money. So what did they do? They started selling their personal belongings. Wozniak sold his calculator. Jobs sold his van, just to collect enough money to start building computers. Imagine that for a second. The world's biggest company started by selling a calculator and a van. Inside a tiny garage, they worked day and night. No luxury, no investors, no guarantee of success, only belief and pressure, massive pressure. Then finally, they built the first Apple computer, the Apple I. But even after creating it, life didn't suddenly become easy. Many stores rejected them, people still doubted them, and competitors were much bigger and more powerful. But Jobs had one secret weapon. He knew how to make people feel something. He didn't sell computers. He sold emotion, dreams, status, creativity, freedom. That's what made Apple different. Then came the moment that changed everything, the launch of the Apple II. Suddenly, sales exploded. Money started pouring in. Apple became one of the fastest growing companies in America, and Steve Jobs became a millionaire at a very young age. It looked like the perfect success story, but secretly, everything was falling apart. Inside Apple, people were struggling to work with Jobs. He was extremely demanding, aggressive, obsessed with perfection. Some employees feared him, others hated him, and slowly, the company he built started turning against him. Then came the shocking moment nobody expected. Apple removed Steve Jobs from his own company. Imagine creating something from nothing, giving your entire life to it, and then being kicked out. Jobs was destroyed emotionally. For months, he felt like a complete failure. The media mocked him. People thought his career was over. But this is where the story becomes legendary. Instead of quitting, Steve Jobs started again. He created another company called Next. Then he bought a small animation studio that later became Pixar. And surprisingly, while Jobs was rebuilding himself, Apple started collapsing without him. The company was losing money, products were failing, confusion was everywhere, Apple was dying. Then suddenly, the company made a desperate decision. They brought Steve Jobs back. The same man they once removed became Apple's last hope, and Jobs returned with a completely different mindset. Focused, sharper, more dangerous than ever. He simplified Apple's products, killed weak ideas, and created products that changed human history. First came the colorful iMac, then the iPod, then the iPhone, and suddenly, Apple was no longer just a computer company. It became a global obsession. Today, Apple is one of the most powerful companies on earth, but behind this trillion-dollar empire was years of pain, rejection, humiliation, and obsession. Steve Jobs once said, "People with passion can change the world." And honestly, Apple's story proves that he was right. Because sometimes, the people who look crazy in the beginning are the same people who change the future forever.